She sat in the Starbucks cafe, sipping her coffee, and staring out of the window. The blood-stained knife lay next to her handbag, covered with her blue silk scarf. She had no signs of worry or guilt in her eyes for what she had done. She was sitting at one of the lonely corners of the Starbucks cafe so that nobody should see her blood-stained knife. There were no signs of guilt or remorse in her eyes, and they were glittering with hope to get something out of what she had done. Then she saw a waiter coming to her side, so she hid the knife inside her bag and closed it. It was a beautiful dawn in Pune city's Korgaon Park area where the Starbucks cafe was located. She often came to visit this cafe to take some sips of her favorite cappuccino, as usual. But today, the day was not usual, and she had done something that most people don't do, especially common people like her. Her name was Kirti, a good-looking gorgeous girl of around 25 years. She had curly, long hair, big black eyes, and chiseled lips that looked more luscious with her matching red-colored lipstick. She had also applied some mascara to her eyelashes to make them look caviar and brighter. She was a plus-size girl with shapely curves that looked sexy in her red-colored suit and matching dupatta. Kirti was clueless about her future as she had become hopeless about it. She started staring at some of the passers-by outside the window and thought, how simple their lives are, and look at mine. I might be the unluckiest person in this world. Half an hour had passed, and Kirti was still sitting clueless in one of the corners of the cafe, without any hope for her future. Then, she suddenly saw her boyfriend emerging from the front door of the cafe. Kirti wasn't expecting him at this time of day, since her boyfriend was a professional investment banker, and he should have been at his office. Kirti tried to cover her face with her dupatta, but it was too late. He had already seen her from the entrance. His name was Vikas, and they had been dating for 6 months. Vikas was also quite skeptical about Kirti due to her unusual behavior and bad temper. Kirti had tried to hurt Vikas many times in this short period, and Vikas had come to realize that this girl wasn't his type. Still, he was looking for a fair chance to tell her this. He approached her slowly and said, "Hi Kirti. How are you doing?" Kirti was a bit baffled because she was not expecting Vikas, but she managed to control her emotions and replied, "Ah. Ha. Hi Vikas. What are you doing here? Didn't you go to your bank?" Kirti asked in a stuttering manner. "Ah. Nothing, I just had to go to Mumbai for a meeting in the evening, so I thought I'd grab some sips of coffee." "But what are you doing here?" Vikas asked. "Ah. Nah. Nothing, I was just looking to get some fresh air and my favorite coffee. My cappuccino maker at home is not working, so I thought, why not try having it here?" She replied in a fumbling manner. Kirti's heart started to beat hard like the piston of a steam engine, and she thought that today she would lose everything. If Vikas knew what she had done, she would lose her faith, which was already ruined by her bad temper. Kirti knew that Vikas was no longer interested in her, but she needed some time to come out of this awkward situation that she had created for herself. The blood-stained knife was reminding her of her odd behavior. She started perspiring and breathing heavily. Vikas saw her plight and he held her hand and asked, "What happened, Kirti? You don't look fine. Your hands are also very cold. Is everything okay?" I am fine. It might be because there was a power outage last night at my home, and I'm feeling a bit exhausted," she replied with a startle. Kirti no longer liked Vikas, and she had seen him with many other girls in various places in Pune. She knew that Vikas was no longer interested in her, since he often tried to ignore her when she saw him with other girls. The situation worsened when Vikas recently changed his Facebook status from "in a relationship" to "single." Kirti thought all boys are the same, and Vikas is not an exception. She considered taking out the blood-stained knife from her bag and stabbing Vickis as a response to his behavior. Vickis realized that Kirti was not paying much attention to his presence and was avoiding eye contact, unlike before, when they used to meet at the same location. He also noticed that Kirti was giving extra attention to her purse without looking at him. He asked her again, "How is your next project going? Is it done?" "No, I still have a lot of work left on my project. By the way, would you like to have some coffee?" She asked with a sense of politeness, while clutching her purse close to herself. Vickis thought he was wasting his time sitting there. So, he tried to leave the location as quickly as possible and replied, "No, thank you, Kirti. I have to go. I've received a message from my boss, and he needs me at the bank immediately." Vickis hastened towards the exit without wasting any time. Kirti began daydreaming again about her future and her circumstances. Kirti knew she hadn't committed any crime, but she acknowledged that what she had done was not acceptable. She didn't want to become the center of any issues due to her unusual behavior. Kirti was quite desperate about her project, and she wanted to complete it no matter what, regardless of what others might think about her nature or behavior. If she lost her project again, her career would be completely ruined, and she might have to take up a regular job to stay in Pune. The only reason she was resorting to those odd actions was to find inspiration for her project. She understood that what she had done might not be well received by certain people in high society, and it might seem unrealistic and peculiar. However, she was desperate about her future, which drove her to use these unconventional tactics to find inspiration for her project. After spending some more time at the cafe, Kirti thought there was no use staying here anymore, so she slowly took her bag and left the cafe. Kirti retrieved her scooty and rode home, placing her bag inside the storage space beneath her scooty seat. After a few minutes of driving, Kirti reached home and parked her scooty near the entrance. She took a lingering look around her house and then slowly removed the bag from her scooty. Suddenly, somebody placed his hands on her shoulder as she was taking out the bag. Kirti was startled and jumped in fright, turning to see who had touched her. As her heart rate slowed, she recognized her best friend and neighbor, Shivani, standing in front of her with a broad smile. Shivani's presence helped Kirti regain her composure. Shivani playfully asked, "What happened, Kirti? Did I startle you that much?" Kirti placed her bag in the designated space and turned toward Shivani, replying, "Nah. No, Shivani. You touched my shoulder from behind. That's why I was a bit startled." Seeing Kirti's bag, Shivani reached out and took it without asking. Holding the bag, she commented, "Nice bag. What's the price?" Kirti felt as though her heart had leapt out of her mouth when Shivani grabbed the bag. She attempted to snatch it back before Shivani saw the blood-stained knife inside. Unfortunately, today was Kirti's most unlucky day. As she tried to retrieve the bag from Shivani's grasp, it slipped from her hand, and all its contents, including the blood-stained knife, fell out onto the ground. Shivani's eyes widened in shock upon seeing the blood-stained knife lying there. She initially couldn't believe her eyes, but soon realized the gravity of the situation. The knife was indeed large and stained with what seemed to be blood. Shivani screamed, "Oh my God! What on earth is this? Why is there a knife inside your bag, and why does it have what seems like blood stains?" Kirti quickly placed her left hand over Shivani's mouth and whispered urgently, "Sheesh. Shivani, be quiet, or the entire neighborhood will gather here. Come inside, and I'll explain everything. But you have to promise me that you won't tell anyone about this." Shivani was already stunned by the sight of the blood-stained knife inside Kirti's bag. Now, she pondered over what kind of crime Kirti might have committed as she was attempting to secure a promise from her. Kirti led Shivani into her home and asked her to take a seat on the sofa. Shivani remained bewildered by Kirti's strange behavior, having no inkling about what was going on. Shivani knew that Kirti had exhibited odd behavior at times. She recalled their first meeting when Kirti had engaged in a heated altercation with a bus conductor, grabbing his collar and using profane language. Shivani had also witnessed Kirti being quite abrasive, but she held the belief that Kirti was not the type of person who would commit a serious crime, let alone with a large knife. Though somewhat frightened, Shivani managed to maintain her composure and entered Kirti's home. After a while, Kirti resumed, acting like a normal girl, and asked Shivani, "Would you like something to drink? My coffee maker isn't working, but I can make tea for you." Shivani remained perplexed, not understanding the situation. She observed Kirti from head to toe, and questioned, "What on earth is happening?" "Kirti, I saw a blood-stained knife in your bag and now you're offering me tea. Did you kill your boyfriend, who left you for other girls, or that conductor you fought with, or perhaps the unknown person who was bothering you over the phone and WhatsApp? Have you lost your mind, or something? This doesn't seem normal. Please calm down, Shivani. I haven't killed anyone. Let me prepare tea for both of us, and then I'll tell you the truth. But promise me, you won't share it with anyone." "Okay, Kirti, I can believe you on this. But please make it fast," Shivani said. She was still uncertain about the situation. She briefly considered calling the police station from her mobile phone, but then she dismissed the idea, believing that Kirti wouldn't harm her. Thus, she set her mobile phone down on the table. Kirti returned with a smile on her face, carrying a tray with teacups. Kirti wondered how Shivani managed to remain so composed when her best friend had discovered a blood-stained knife in her bag. Shivani had some trust in Kirti, which was why she still sat there with her. Otherwise, she might have fled upon seeing the knife, or even contacted the police. Shivani, with a furrowed brow, sipped tea from her cup and asked, "Holy crap, Kirti, are you going to tell me now what happened? Why did you have a blood-stained knife in your bag, and why were you carrying it around Pune?" "Nothing out of the ordinary, Shivani. You know I need to write a thriller story for my next project, so I had that blood-stained knife in my purse to draw some inspiration. You might recall that I previously wrote a thriller short story for an online magazine using the same approach. I attempted the same technique this time and hoped for some exciting ideas. Unfortunately, this time the trick didn't work." Shivani took a deep sigh of relief, as she had been prepared to call the police and had the number ready on her mobile phone. She asked Kirti, still feeling relieved, "Damn. Alright, I understand that you used that knife for inspiration, but what about the blood? I think it's real because I can smell it." "Shivani, you know I'm a perfectionist. That's why I buy a bag of fake blood from the blood bank whenever I need inspiration. This time too, I got some and used it to make the knife appear as if it's been used by a serial killer in my story." Kirti and Shivani both chuckled, and Kirti took out the knife to show it to Shivani. They both laughed. After some more conversation, Shivani left, and Kirti took a sigh of relief. She cleaned the knife in the basin of her washroom. Kirti had indeed tricked Shivani with her statement, but only she understood the extent of what she had done. Kirti put the knife to the flame to eliminate any other evidence. Then, she went to her bedroom to get some rest. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe for more captivating narratives that will spark your imagination and inspire your spirit. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon.